I'm doing the final setup on this Gretsch Roundup from 1955. I've worked on it for months. One of the things that I did was refret it completely, and now I'm about to glue the nut in. The cool thing is it's the original nut, and that's rare. When you do a refret, they don't normally fit. This one was a little bit on the tall side, so I'm dropping those strings into the perfect range. I'm using the safe slot tool to do this with because it keeps me from going too low and blowing that nut. To show you how this tool works, here's Don MacRostie, the inventor.
I've been using feeler gauges for 25 years or more to make filing slots in nuts safe. That is, so I don't go too deep. The file hits the feeler gauge and stops at the right depth. The problem has been holding the feeler gauges. They'll rock on the fretboard and they'll twist against the nut, and either of those will cause an error in slot depth. Always looking for a better way, I came up with this tool. This holds the feeler gauges just like I want them. Now I'll show you how to use it. So I have to measure the gap between the fret tops and the fretboard. I do that with feeler gauges, and I find the ones that will go. I line right up on the string line, and that pair will go. If I change it to these, 1/1000th bigger, it won't go. So I write down the number that goes, which in this case is 35 thousandths. I do that for each string. So I have 4 numbers written down for mandolin, E, A, D, and G. Once I have those numbers written down, I've found that I need to raise it up by a factor. I use 6 thousandths for the E, add 1/1000th for each string. When I get to the bass G string, I'm raising it 9 thousandths. 6, 7, 8, 9. And for the A string, I come up with 42 thousandths. That's 35 plus 7. That tells me how much feeler gauge to put in. I do it by adding a 22 and a 20. That's 42. Now I tighten down the holder, the tool, so that it brings the feeler gauge so it touches on the outer edge, but not so much that it humps up in the center. The tool has a slanted caul on it. Make that slant line up with the fall away of the peg head. It's designed to take care of the round that happens right at the nut. Once I have it pulled down correctly, I select the file for that string, which is a 16, and I'm ready to file. I want the exit ramp to be about 7 degrees, and I want the string ramp toward the tuners to be at least on line with the peg head. So I'm filing in a curved motion like this to create the bottom of the slot in a slight round. I'll file till the file just touches the feeler gauge. With the string slots at the proper depth now, the nut is too tall. I'm going to take off the top of the nut. I'm going to shape the ends and the face and polish it, and I'll be done.
Good job. Hey, you got time to hang out afterwards and do a little picking?
Yeah, let's pick a tune.
Cool.
Dry all the raindrops and hold back the sun. My world has ended. My baby's gone.